The green light is on, and the final practice session of 2023's ninth season of ABB FIA Formula E is underway. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, wherever you are in the world as well, like it is here in the UK. And welcome to London, which has got a very different feeling about it. Sort of the pressure is off in many respects. The World Championship was decided yesterday with Jake Dennis taking it in dramatic fashion as well. All we've got really to expect here today is the final practice. Teams just going out there, making sure any rebuilt cars are okay, and then all is good going into the qualifying session later on. Megan will be taking you through that at 12:30 until 1:55. She'll then be running down to the commentary box for the start of Formula One's race. And hopefully all should be good as well later. It's going to be a fascinating day of action. There's so much intrigue, so much action as well, just waiting to take part. The track is underway as well. So let's say good morning to our commentary team as well over there with Tom Brooks. Karun Chandler cut down over Gideon.
It failed on him. Yeah, and whether it did look like he missed the sensors. He said it wasn't working because you've got to arm the attack mode, press a button on the wheel to arm it before you then go into attack mode. And it just looked like he was trying to obviously minimise the time loss and just cut it a bit fine in the middle of the car, did not cross the sensor, the three sensors that are embedded into the track.
Yep, so this is out of turn 9. This is the run down in towards the Custom House chicane. Here is Nick Cassidy. Well, there's no need to ask exactly how he was feeling after the race yesterday. We saw his body language after having talking to the team. He was stuck behind Sebastian Buemi. The two teammates collided. Nick Cassidy lost his front wing, ended up having to go back into the pit lane. That was his race run, and his championship then, from that point, was effectively over. And quite understandably, he was very frustrated at the end of yesterday.
Yeah, I think his frustration was building from Rome. You know, he got caught up in an accident with Mitch Evans that Nick was an innocent bystander. A slight mistake from Mitch caused this big accident. That took away his championship lead, and we saw what happened yesterday. But the Envision guys, I think, as a team, seriously mismanaged that one and their drivers. And what they were trying to achieve yesterday, and it really came back to bite them. I mean, the golden rule is you do not hit your teammate, and they came together, especially when one of them is fighting for the championship, and they as a team are fighting for the team's championship, and they've lost that lead as well, and now Jaguar are equal points.
Yeah, exactly. Envision were leading the team's championship coming into round 15 yesterday. You can see all the drivers on your screen at the moment. Evans and Cassidy in particular are the two that are going now for second in the driver's title. That can be decided here this afternoon.
Look at the different angles of the head. Verline's head quite tilted quite far forward. Mitch Evans reclined all the way back. Nick Cassidy kind of moves between, his neck moves a lot more than the others. It's quite interesting to just watch the driving styles, the driving techniques, and the seat positions of each driver.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yesterday for free practice in the morning, we had actually a damp track, so lap times were not necessarily representative where we were expected to be. I think the quickest lap was a 1:14 or something like that at the end of the session.
Yeah, it was a 1:14 yesterday in the overall running of things, but today the track is good. You can see track temperature 35 degrees, air temperature at 20 degrees as well, humidity 57. 35% probability of rain coming in, which is sometimes okay. Mortara setting the early benchmark time, 1:12.023. That's going to change though, because we've got Buemi now at the top. Buemi, who got a podium yesterday, despite the fact he was involved in causing not one, but two red flag situations as well. And he put out his teammate in the championship hunt as well. So it really was sort of a catch-22 system sort of being taken part there as well. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But Buemi, fastest, 1:11.757 from Mortara, Bird, Nato, Da Costa, Cassidy, Rast, Gunther, Ticton, Verline, the top 10, Sete Camera, Hughes, De Grassi, Vern, Lotterer, Fenestras, Lotterer, Van Dorn, Fenestras, Evans, Fenestras. God, it's changing so much, isn't it? As we even attempt it as well. As they come down, Evans across the line, who, as I said, improves up to 17th place. So it's just changing so much out there on the circuit as the just improvements come in as well. Last practice of the year, so last chance for everybody to get. Oh, and that's Jake Dennis. Jake Dennis locking up and having a half spin, our world champion of season 9, down at turn 1, having a little bit of an issue and having to do a 360 to get out of it. And he's okay, but Jake Dennis in real trouble at the first corner there.
Not locked.
Dario?
We'll see it here.
Not the brakes,
not
yeah.
locked any wheels. The systems in the car, basically it counts on the driver braking the same way to the same level every time. And when they don't, when they try and actually get some more brake pressure, it doesn't work because of that. And also with the regeneration of the brakes, a lot of times they're at maximum regen allowed. And so they can't actually put any more brake pressure into it. It doesn't do anything. So that's why we've seen some very odd crashes in the middle of races this season as well. It just looks like the guy's just driven straight into the car in front. It's because they cannot put the car will not allow any more braking effort.
Bit of breaking news. Speaking of braking, coming into the
go
commentary
on.
box as well. Sergio Sette Camara has been disqualified from the race yesterday. Steward's decision, essentially, the decision reached during the race, the second race suspension. All cars came to the pits. They found that the nose of car 3 was not safe. They requested the team change the nose of car 3, and they told them more than once to repair the car. They failed to do so. It was deemed safe by the team, and therefore he has now been disqualified from that. And that's a real shame for Sergio Sette Camara and for Neo Racing as well, because they finished with a double points.
They did.
Position of the checkered flag, with Sergio Sette Camara in 5th, Dan Ticktum in 8th place.
And moved ahead of Mahindra in the points. So hang on, but there was about 3 or 4 cars at that point. Look, busy in turn 10. There was about 3 or 4 cars had noses that were essentially missing at that restart. Does that mean they're going to disqualify everybody that was missing the nose?
Well, this is the thing,
wow.
isn't it? Because
this could get interesting.
Da Costa was handed that time penalty for what he was saying was a slow puncher. This is Edo Mortara getting it wrong down at the custom house.
Yeah, then gets greeted by Cassidy.
The car around. Oh, and he's followed off in sympathy there by the Envision as well.
That was Cassidy, yeah.
Fixation, perhaps. But anyway, getting back to it. So Da Costa was given that 3-minute time penalty for low tyre pressures, effectively was the official reason. He then came back and retorted and said, well, it was a slow puncher, but we deemed it safe to continue. The 3-minute time penalty was then imposed before the end of the race. But exactly as you say, it's apples and oranges, isn't it? Because then there were other cars without front wing.
Yes.
Let's have a listen to a bit of team radio here for Buemi.
Great team spirit.
Copy that.
Great. I tell you, I'm going to make it very simple. If he wants to play like that,
pushing behind.
everyone's going to lose, okay? Everyone.
Oh,
so that's
is that Cassidy blocking him?
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday,
right. From Sebastian Buemi, I believe. Beg your pardon. Sorry, that's just now.
That's just now. That is today, yeah.
Everybody's losing their mind here. Okay, I mean, we think Nick Cassidy is moving on after today's race from Envision
to Jaguar.
You've got one more. You've got a common goal here to try and win the team's championship. The prize money is paid out on the team's championship. You know, this is where Sylvain Philippe needs to sit both drivers down and
have a go.
Basically dictate the law to them. This is how it's going to be today. You're going to do that. We employ you, we pay you an awful lot of money to do what you're told. The contract actually states you've got to do basically what the team tells you, so get on with it. And if you don't like it, you know, stay at home. Ridiculous.
So here are the two Envisions. Nick Cassidy on the left, Sebastian Buemi on the right. This is out of turn 9 and down in towards the custom house chicane for Nick Cassidy. Buemi just making his way through over the rise in towards the final section. You can see just how congested it gets. We had that during group qualifying, actually, here yesterday. You can see cars all sort of slowing down, and it causes a right concertina effect. So trying to find clear space, especially in the group qualifying stages where there are 11 cars out on track, is not the easiest thing to do.
No, but one thing just now, you don't get a penalty for causing interference, but obviously in the race, in qualifying, it becomes a bigger issue.
So looking here then at the Avalanche Andretti, this is Jake Dennis going through, the reigning champion now with the 27 on his car. Will he change over to the number 1 plate for season 10? We're not 100% sure. Crucially as well, who's going to be his teammate for season 10 as well? Strong rumours that Andre Lostra is going to be moving on to focus on his World Endurance Championship commitment, so there's a space going at the Andretti team. You can see just underneath the front wing here how bumpy it is through some parts of the circuit relative to others on the calendar. It's not actually that bumpy at all, but down in towards turn 16 there, hooking the car up very nicely, and the car looking like it's performing very well. So just having the race results coming through here from yesterday as well. Again, we know that Sergio Sette Camara was given the disqualification notification. And there are a plethora of time penalties that have also come in for a number of drivers. That includes car 36, which is Andre Lotterer, a time second of 5 seconds, time penalty of 5 seconds. Then you've got car 7 as well, Max Gunther.
More penalties.
58, which is Rene Rast. You've got car 17, which is Norman Nato. He got a time penalty of 5 seconds. Car 8, which is Roberto Mero, got a time penalty of 10
this is stupid.
seconds. Car 13, Antonio Felix da Costa, a time penalty of 3 minutes, as we know, during the race. Yeah, I was going to say, I was just thinking of that. There we go, 3 minutes. And then, of course, we know that Sergio Sette was disqualified from that one. So, well, that's rather changed the complexion of things, because the final from round 15 yesterday means that it's Mitch Evans, Jake Dennis, Sebastian Buemi on the podium. Then Sam.
Yes. We've just literally got the email ourselves, and we've got it up here in the commentary box. Look, this is the information that we get. This is the race control information that I've got. So, yesterday, time penalty of 5 seconds for 36. 7, as we heard from everybody, so that's the 36 coming through. So the classification yesterday now reads as Mitch Evans victorious. He takes 28 points. Dennis taking second with 18. He's the world champion. Buemi in third. He has 15. Sam Bird now fourth on 12 points. Eduardo Mortara fifth on 10 points. Lucas de Grassi sixth on 8 points. Then 7th for Tictum, he gets 6. Nato 8th, 4 points. Verline 9th, 2 points. And Jake Hughes 10th with 2 points as well for some reason. Then we get Van Dorn 11th, Gunther 12th, Lotterer 13th, Rast is 14th, Mary 15th, and Da Costa now takes up in 16th position. Not classified, Fenestraz, Cassidy, Muller, Verne and Frines. Disqualified is Sergio Sette Camera due to, as we heard Tom Brooks talking about the steward's decision as well, that he should have changed his rear wing, didn't change his rear wing, so got a penalty for it coming into it. So that's a very weird setup there, and everyone else getting time penalties. So it's completely changed the complexion of the race going forward. So that's going to be something that we'll have to keep an eye on in race today, as we've got more cars going off the track. 17 minutes to go then at the moment, and it's Evans on top, followed by Verne and Fenestraz.
With just under 17 minutes now remaining in this session, Mitch Evans tops the order from Jean-Eric Verne and Sacha Fenestraz. Fenestraz quite unlucky yesterday, good pace underneath him, and Norman Nato as well at points, and then that time penalty that he suffered, and also the accident as well with Sebastian Buemi really costing him and Nissan a strong result. Only one podium that they've managed to achieve in 2023 for the factory Nissan team. That was courtesy of Norman Nato a couple of weeks ago in Rome at round 14. They'll be hoping for a positive end to their season, but results have been somewhat harder to come by than I'm sure they would have anticipated this year.
You see Jean-Eric Verne just practicing the attack mode activation zone.
Yeah, just coming through in towards the final couple of corners is Jean-Eric Verne. That's straight where we had the indoor land speed record set by Jake Hughes in the Gen Beta car the other day. Did you have a chance to have a look at that, by the way?
No, I haven't seen it. I've seen the video of the land speed. It's pretty punchy speed on that short straight.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's obviously producing a bit more power than the Gen 3 cars. It's got a special front wing, which has been designed to increase aerodynamics, reduce a bit of drag. Special Hankook tyres as well, loads of different things basically to make it as fast as they possibly could in a very short space. It was only a 270-metre long straight, that, so there's not really a great amount of opportunity, but they still managed to smash the land speed record by some 50-odd kilometres an hour. Indoor land speed record,
the indoor one, not the exterior one.
Which was hugely impressive. And also, we had a duel there as well. We had Jake Hughes in one of the cars, Lucas de Grassi in another, and interestingly, de Grassi's times during the majority of his runs, in the practice runs, were faster. He had a bit of a slip going through the final corner, though, on his officially timed run. Lost a bit of time, and as such, he ended up about a kilometre an hour in deficit to Jake Dennis. And as such, Jake Dennis is now the Guinness World Record holder for the indoor.
Jake Hughes,
I beg your pardon, for the indoor land speed record. Bit of team radio for Buemi.
Very strong. Keep pushing if you can. That's P1.
That'll cheer Buemi up a little bit after his mild rant earlier on the radio. This is driver's eye view. It's Pascal Wehrlein.
A fantastic view of the circuit, this really, isn't it? It just gives you an idea, especially how blind a lot of these corners are.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of them are blind, but also the restricted vision that the driver has. Sometimes you'll see the two drivers coming together from one on one side of the track, one on the other, meeting in the middle, and you think, how did that happen? But you actually see how restricted the view is through the helmet, the halo, the head surround.
See the team principals here. James Barkley on the top left, Sylvain Philippe on the top right.
Roger Griffiths, then Roger Griffiths over his right shoulder is JF Thorman, Michael Andretti's right-hand man. So the boss is being watched by the boss until the big boss shows up later this afternoon. Yeah,
Andretti. Yeah, Florian Modlinger, their team principal for Tag Heuer Porsche as well. And be interested to see what sort of tactics they're going to be deploying here. This is a pirouette for Jake Hughes down at turn 10.
Turn to 10B, I think we're going to start calling.
A lot of drivers seeming to push the limits a bit more than we saw there yesterday.
Yeah, I wonder if some of that as well is due to we think the race today, 2 laps shorter, it's going to be more of a sprint. There's going to be less lift and coast.
Yeah, 34 laps now, not 36 scheduled.
Quicker. So people and they're trying to push the limits. What did they learn yesterday in the race? What can they change in the setup to make them faster today, more competitive, and ultimately.
And this is Hughes then, we're just seeing on a replay into the braking zone. And this is the new... Oh, he turned him turn 11 and the car just went nope and just shot down the other way. That's the braking system that we heard earlier on. Dario talking about when Dennis went off the track at turn 1, that little bit of a slipstream into the braking zone, just loses the rear and went forward. So a little bit worse there, unfortunately. But all looking quite strong here at the start. Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup, their race is about to get underway on the other side. Jess and Omi talking you through that one, but the start, we understand, is delayed to 10 to 15 minutes due to barrier repair. So you can watch the end of this session and go over there, which is what I would have done if I knew. Isn't that just helpful? Because that means I could have actually done the race instead of Jess and Omi. So... it's always working out, but I've got to set up for the touring cars after this anyway, for their race 1 with Josh. So technically, it has all worked out correctly for once in this one. Boemi top 110.667. Bird 42 thousandths off the pace at the moment. Then Evans, Cassidy, Gunther jumps up to 5th position as well. So some really strong times are coming through here, and fingers crossed it's going to be a nice calm race so far. As Cassidy, who is personal best sector 1, fastest sector 2. Is he about to take top honours? He comes up the hill here at the Excel Centre, goes indoors. Second sector, that's good. Cassidy out the last corner. Mortara goes 4th. Cassidy's P5 at the moment. Cassidy P1 now by 88 thousandths of a second. Very good stuff.
1-2 in favour of Nick Cassidy. So from a driver's point of view here, Dario, and I'll come back to that in a moment, that is the number 33 of Dan Ticktum, who looks like he's just slowing down, going through into the custom chicane. But
yeah, he's on a slow lap.
Cassidy, what do you think his mindset is going to be coming into this final round after a disappointing Saturday?
Well, he's going to want to win the race, clearly, but it's how bad the team relationship is after yesterday, because it does benefit him for them to win the team's championship today because of, again, the prize money being paid on the finishing position of the team's championship, and he will get a percentage of that. And he's probably got a bonus if he finishes 1st, 2nd, 3rd in the championship, obviously, and those will decrease the further down the championship he finishes. So if he can get into 2nd today, financially, he's going to do better. So you know, that's I would imagine that's a fair amount of motivation. As Oliver Askew just pointed out to me here in the commentary booth, we got the Envisions 1-2, the Maseratis 6-7, the Nissans 8-9, the Neos 14-15. So it's kind of team by team by team as everybody starts to figure out the setup for this track. Going into the second day.
Yeah, drivers now beginning to set some personal best lap times and really beginning to amp up the pace at the sharp end of the field. This is Mitch Evans, looking like he's on a bit of a push lap in the Jaguar, just coming up against a bit of traffic here. Personal best for him in that 1st sector, as he manages to make his way past Jake Dennis, who's on a cool-down lap at the moment, in towards the chicane, where we've seen quite a few drivers pushing the limits. And speaking of pushing the limits there, Evans just missing the apex on the run into turn 10. That'll cost him a little bit of time.
I think the apex of 13 is probably my favourite part of that series of corners, because it's a wall, there's no curve. You can't misjudge it by an inch, otherwise you're going to do a little damage. And actually, Nick Cassidy's car yesterday on the grid, you could see where he brushed the wall ever so slightly with a Hankook tyre, and a beautiful exhibit of precision.
Yeah, it really is something special, especially when we get into qualifying, get into the duels when they put a bit more power on the cars. A lot of pressure, of course, because there's only really one flying lap as Mitch Evans comes across the line. Personal best time for him, stays 5th quickest at the moment. Here is Jean-Eric Vergne, double Formula E champion, the only driver to have won championships in 2 different generations. He won it in the final season of Gen 1 and then again in the first season of Gen 2. So back-to-back titles for the Frenchman. DS Penske sitting down in 5th place in the Drivers' Championship. Sorry, the Team's Championship, I should say, rather. Jean-Eric Vergne, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, also in 5th place. 1 win so far this year, earlier in the year back in Hyderabad. Since then, it's been challenging for the Frenchman and indeed for the whole DS Penske team. Stoffel Van Dorn has really struggled in his title defence and moving over to that new outfit. Ooh, brushing the wall there on the exit of 13 as well.
That was what I was talking about. That was so impressive. He's got a bit of traffic ahead though, but Mahindra gets out of the way. Very nicely done.
Yeah, so Vergne just coming through in towards the final sector. Not been a lap time that's lit up the timing screens for the Frenchman at the moment. Down in 12th fastest, just under 0.8 of a second away from the fastest time in this session. Pascal Wehrlein, his nearest rival, just a couple of hundredths quicker than him. But it's amazing how close the gaps are here. Though we're only in free practice, 3 drivers aren't going to be pushing as hard as they will be in qualifying. 1.5 seconds separating 22 drivers.
Yeah, you see Jay Penske on screen. I don't know, I think you push pretty much. You try and get to the limit, even in practice, because it gives you that information for qualifying, not to do exactly this and overcook it. But I think that was more the car on the inside, which I think what car was on the inside, kind of almost blocking the driver's view into the apex, and that's what caused maybe that trip down the very, very, very busy escape road. So Mitch Evans pushing the limit through turn 9. And look at when they break traction on that bump, and we saw Nick Cassidy do it yesterday in qualifying and actually sort of fishtailed down the straight at high speed. Oh, Evans absolutely.
Whoa, Evans is flying, and he's touching every wall.
12-13 kisses the wall potentially.
Beautiful from Mitch Evans as he comes down in towards turn 16. This is where we saw Sacha Fenestraz get it wrong yesterday. He went Tokyo drift style in towards that corner. No such dramas for Mitch Evans. Fastest overall in the second sector. Personal best for him in the first sector as well. Let's see whether Evans is going to be able to go to the top of the pile in the Jaguar through turn 20. Out of the final corner, aims to break the beam to the timing line, and it is a fastest lap by nearly 0.2 of a second. So it's a Jaguar TCS Racing 1-2 with just under 7 minutes now remaining here in this session.
This is going to be a strong day.
James Barkley be happy with that, especially with this team's fight he's got in his hands this afternoon. He'll be rallying the troops before qualifying, and then certainly before the race, helping his drivers to understand what the goal is today.
Radio.
Yeah, but I don't like the setup. The rear is not hanging on.
Well, it's a quick setup, even if he doesn't like it. Still 0.2 of a second quicker than he is than Sam Berg.
He can probably feel it, Tom, just as he's getting towards the end of that lap. The rear's just starting to go away further, and he just wants a little more rear security.
So from a driver's point of view, when you've got an instability like that on the rear and you've got to report that back to your team, what sort of things are the team then going to be doing to change the dynamics of the car to give him a car that he's more comfortable with?
Well, in a traditional internal combustion car, it'd be all mechanical with dampers, springs, roll bars, ride heights, toe, moving the relationship between the left and the right wheels in and out, front or rear.
Oh, a lot of, sorry, to cut across down here, there's a lot of cars down at turn 10 and 11, as you can probably see in your driver tracker, including the 37 of Cassidy. Now, has he gone straight on? Yes, he has. Cassidy's gone straight on, and in there's one of the, I think it's Robin Fried's down there too, I can't quite tell. Yeah, it is, Fried's in there too, so both of them going straight on, as you can see on your driver tracker, down at turn 11, and that's why there was a kerfuffle going on as well. So many cars sideways, but Cassidy's got back out there finally. But it's just getting so chaotic here in Formula E. This is the final practice session. The Drivers' Championship has been resolved, but now the bigger pressure's on, arguably, because this is now going to have to be everybody going for it to try and understand exactly what we're going to have in terms of the Team Championship. This is where the big points are paid out. This is Cassidy then on the brakes. Oh, where's Cassidy? 3, 2, 1, here he is. Over the bumps. It's way too fast again and couldn't even stop. Went straight down the escape road. And once again, he's going to be joined by Robin Friends, who just went straight down as well. Couldn't do anything. So it's that type of situation once again.
Left just as he was trying to turn it in.
feel the grip going away from him at the front. And
I wonder
then,
if he had to prepare that to do a burnout.
yeah, it's actually Robin Frines, the Abt Cooper, that went off down there as well.
So it's not just the work of a moment. He's got to pull a paddle to disengage the helper system, shall we call them, to be able to do a burnout.
Let's have a look on board here, Dario. Talk us through what's happening.
Just watch the front of the car relative to his bottoming. Yeah, he's just not. He's started bottoming. It's on the edge of locking, probably just carrying 1 or 2 miles an hour quicker than he would like. And you see him just go, okay, I'm pulling out of this one. Not good. And I think the Abt Cooper behind just got unsighted and locked up, and he went.
Yeah, but put the frights up here, wouldn't it? Seeing another car locking up, heading towards your direction into that corner. Thankfully, a fair bit of room for Robin Frines to go off to the escape road as Jean-Eric Vergne, personal best for him in the first sector. In the DS Penske then, looking like he's doing pretty well here in this second sector. Again, personal best, but some half a second adrift of the ultimate pace at the moment. Teammate Van Dorn down in 17th quickest so far this year as well. What do you think they're going to be doing when it comes to the off-season to try and regroup? We know that Penske are a team that have been around in motorsport for a good number of years. They've been in pretty much every category there has been. They know how to run a race team.
But this is Jay Penske. This is Roger's son running DS Penske, so it's a slightly different operation. But they've been very successful in the IndyCar, and obviously they've been in Formula E a long time. They've been working very hard with the powertrain over the break until next season. They'll be working mechanically as well. Just every area they can think of to try and improve. Some marginal gains in all areas. Some areas will be bigger than others. I will say that the DS Penske looked a little bit lazy in change of direction between turns 17 and 18. That left-hander, right-hander just before they started heading up the hill looked a bit slow to change direction compared to some of the other cars we've seen. Buemi goes quickest of anybody, sector 1.
Yeah, looking pretty good here is Sebastian Buemi.
Got a yellow flag, so to cut across you guys. Yellow flag at turn number 1. So who's gone straight on at the braking zone? One more with Cassidy. I'm trying to have a look on the driver track, which is I'm very close, sorry about this, to see who's off down there at turn 1. No, it's just a basic yellow. I can't see any cars stopped. Now we've gone green. So Buemi is up on sector times as well, and fastest of all sector 1, personal best sector 2. He's actually dropped down a few bits of time, which is very annoying. I was expecting him to have a much faster run. He's coming to the last 2 corners though. Is he going to be faster? That's the question. Across the line, Sebastian Buemi is P6 at the moment. Where does he go? Only 3rd fastest. Well, it could have been worse. It could have been better. I suppose it's best of the situation.
1, 2, 3 now, the factory cars, and then the Envision customer car in 3rd with Sebastian Buemi.
Sacha Fenestraz looking pretty good out there at the moment in 4th for Nissan as well. See what he is going to be able to do. Rumour is that he's going to be staying put with that team for next year. Possibility maybe of someone like Nick de Vries coming into that outfit for season 10.
Yeah, I've also heard Oliver Rowland might
Dennis?
be going back to Nissan. I mean,
So we need to go push. We need to go push.
They won't get lapping.
Lots of traffic for Jake Dennis. Look at it, it's rush hour.
Yeah, coming in towards the business end of the session then. So just under a minute
Oh,
now
a lot of traffic
remaining
under the
in front of us.
bridge.
Look at this, it's like Piccadilly Circus on a Monday morning, isn't it?
And again, this is where you want this oh my word, you want this
So much traffic in the last
information.
sector.
So when you push on your qualifying laps this afternoon, you know where all the braking points are, the grip available. He's got no chance. He's got 33 seconds to go. This is going to be the last lap. They're starting the last lap of practice, and you need to have some kind of clear lap.
Yeah, you see him backing up there, just trying to get as much space as he possibly can. Launches himself out of the final corner, does Jake Dennis. 8th fastest for him at the moment as he gets the car into turn 1 and turn 2 relatively okay.
Board with Sam Bird coming through turn 16. And Jake Dennis said he really feels a good rhythm with this track, especially the high grip parts, the indoor parts. It really seems to work for him.
The checker flag is out on the last practice session of 2023 for ABB Formula E's World Championship. We've got some testing coming up in October, but the calendar, of course, for next year starts 2024 in January. So this is the last one then. A long off-season for Formula E while everyone else finishes their other series as well. Sergio Sette camera coming in. It feels quite nice actually to finish. It's a shame I won't be here for the last qualifying, but I've got to set up for Formula 1 and everything as well, unless Megan switches over and does the pre-show for F1 like she did in Canada. Checkered flags out then, and Sete Camera crosses the line, goes 8th fastest. Here we see Jake Dennis taking it in, full attack, swings in, gets on the power, full across the line, and Dennis stays in 10th position as the checkered flag comes out for everybody else. Looks to be quite a calm way to end the session. No one's having that big of a change around. No one's having that big of a deal. Evans across the line. Is he quicker or not? No, 4/10 down his best time. Bird stays second. Buemi isn't going to improve either. Buemi stays in third. So he's out of it too. And that's it. Everybody's done. The session is done. Yellow flag's out now for the practice starts. But that is the final practice session of Season 9 of ABB FIA Formula E. It is all done and dusted. And it is Evans fastest. Let's go through the results then. Ahead of qualifying later. Evans is the fastest by 71 thousandths to Bird. Then it's Buemi, Fenestras, followed by Cassidy, Tictum, Da Costa, Sete Camera, Verline, Dennis the top 10. Gunther, Mortara, Nato, Vern, Rast, Lotterer, Muller, Degrassi, Van Dorn, Hughes, Freins and Roberto Merri. Well, Megan will be back, or I will be back, depending on how we work it out, to do the qualifying session later on today. It's going to be very good. That's underway 12:35 as we get ready and set to go. There is multiple points on offer. Jaguar and Envision, 268 points each in the championship. Porsche, 241. Andretti, 236. There's a long way to push in the championship as well, with 32 points, with 48 on offer in maximum. So it's going to be a good one. We'll see you later for qualifying. Bye-bye.